Hi, I did my presentation on the Lisbon earthquake of 1755, and my name is Crystal Thomas. So this earthquake occurred on November 1st, 1775, and it landed on All Saints Day. So because it was All Saints Day, the majority of the population was at a mass. And when the earthquake hit, people, like I said, were either at a mass or they were preparing for the celebration that usually would occur on All Saints Day. So when the earthquake happened, the church did collapse because of the infrastructure was not built to withstand the shock of the earthquakes at that time. So because the earthquake caused the church building to collapse, it killed thousands of people that were inside of these buildings. Okay, so the earthquake, the plate tectonic boundary where it occurred at was the mid-Atlantic region, and this was found with recent technology. We were able to deduct and find out that it occurred at the mid-Atlantic plate tectonic boundary. Because it happened out in the ocean, it did trigger a tsunami, and this tsunami created 20-foot waves that were coming toward Lisbon and 65 feet going to Cadiz, Spain. The energy that was expelled from the earthquake is in comparison to 32,000 Hiroshima bombs. So the tremors and the waves rippled extended to North Atlantic, Scotland, and Brazil. Many of the valuables were stored in warehouses on the waterfront, and one of them included 1.5% of Brazil's diamonds. So these were destroyed because of the tsunami that hit and due to them being located on the waterfront. When this earthquake happened, many of the Catholics believed that they were being punished and that God was putting his wrath on humans. When the earthquake hit, 2/3 of the housing were destroyed. 75,000 people were killed by the end of the week. And this was either from the fire, collapsing of buildings, drowning, or being pulled out to sea from the tsunami waves. This was one of the most deadliest natural disasters in the world. That magnitude was estimated to be 8.5 to 9. And I think I mentioned this before, but if not, the decorations and flowers were inside of the church, and because all of the candles were lit when the earthquake happened, this caused the fires. So if it wasn't on All Saints Day and there weren't as many decorations and there wouldn't have been as many candles lit, the destruction and the amount of people that died from this event wouldn't have been as extreme. So the earthquake shook for 3 minutes and a massive crack appeared. It was also one of the largest tsunamis to ever hit Europe. 90% of the buildings were collapsed, flooded, or burned, which meant that it was completely destroyed and you pretty much had to rebuild from scratch. So King Joseph I avoided the earthquake and the tsunami because of his daughter wanting to go to the coast to celebrate All Saints Day. Because this happened, the king became very claustrophobic following the earthquake, and so he wasn't in the best state of mind. So he was okay with the Prime Minister, Sebastian de Mello, also known as Marquis of Pombal, taking over after the disaster. Because of this, Lisbon was rebuilt extremely fast. Pombal created 5 different plans to rebuild, and he ensured that the buildings were going to be structurally sound and that they were going to test using simulations to make sure that the buildings were earthquake proof. And I think that this is important to learn about because it teaches us about the safety of our buildings, and that earthquakes can cause our buildings to collapse, and we need to make sure that our buildings are structurally sound and that they can withstand the amount of shock that comes with earthquakes. And I believe that that's why it is important for us to review natural disasters in the past and understand what we can do to better prepare for these disasters, because they are going to happen and there's no way of preventing them.